Allah hayyo everybody, hello and welcome to the second episode of Cook with Mo. How are you guys? Hopefully you had a great week and you tried making the knafa bites and you enjoyed it. So for today's recipe we're making chicken cordon bleu. So we're getting out of the Middle East for a bit and we're going towards France. And for our chicken cordon bleu we're gonna need chicken breast. As you can see here, I'm having 2 chicken breasts. It's totally up to you if you want to add or subtract. You're gonna find all the ingredients in the description box below and you can follow it. So as you can see here, I'm starting to add spices to my chicken. So I started by onion powder, then garlic powder. There isn't really much of spices to that we're gonna add to the chicken. It's really very straightforward. It's only onion powder, garlic powder, and then salt and pepper. So for the salt, I'm using Himalayan salt, so it's a little bit saltier than the usual white salt. So if you're using the same thing, you want to go a little bit lighter. If not, just follow the ingredients. And last but not least, we're gonna add our black pepper here before we start mixing our chicken with the spices. So for the mixing, we're just gonna need to mix it for about a minute to a minute and a half. It doesn't really need that much of time and effort. Just make sure that all the spices are in the chicken and they're good to go. We move on to the next step, which is beating the chicken or rolling the chicken basically. So for this step we're gonna need 2 plastic wrappers. As you can see, you want them almost to be same size, and then we're gonna place the spiced chicken that we had prepared before. We're gonna place it in the middle. So I made a small mistake here. It's not really a mistake, but it will make your life a bit easier. Is that I placed the chicken in a vertical way. So you want to place it in a horizontal way, just so that it doesn't come out of the plastic wrapper. So as you beat the chicken here, you're gonna see it will go out a bit wider than the usual because it's getting flatter. So you want to make sure that the chicken is wrapped all around with the plastic wrapper so it doesn't get out. So as you can see here, we're getting the chicken wrapped. So yeah, as you can see, like I was just saying, if this chicken is not wrapped properly and have a good enough space for it to flatten out, it's gonna get out, and that's what you're seeing here right now. I'm adding more plastic wrapper just so that it don't come out. And then we're gonna start beating the chicken lightly, as you can see here. So you don't want to go all crazy on it, to just a slight light beating till it flattens out, and then we're gonna start filling it. So as you can see here, it looks like this before the filling. It should be like this flat. Then we're gonna start by adding our cheese to it. So I'm using Swiss cheese here. I'm gonna use 3 slices of Swiss cheese. It's totally up to you the amount of cheese that you want to use. I would recommend at least 2 slices. I'm going for 3 slices here today, and it's totally fine also if the chicken is a little bit outside of the if the cheese is a little bit outside the chicken. But if it was like way overboard, you want to maybe like do what I just did there, cut the slice and put it in the middle. And then we're gonna start adding our meat slices. So for the meat slices, really it's totally up to you what kind of meat you want to use. So I'm using today turkey slices. Usually it's what's used in the cordon bleu. They usually use it's either ham or prosciutto. I chose today to use turkey. So we're adding 3 slices of turkey. Just make sure whatever meat that you're using, that it should be really thin sliced so you can roll it easily without any difficulties. So we're finishing here with our 3 slices of Swiss cheese before we're getting it ready to roll. Sorry, the AC was on here, making my life a bit harder. It's fine. We're pushing, we're going. Okay, we're getting it ready to get rolled. Here we go. So for the rolling, we're gonna roll it first by hand, not with the plastic wrapper. So we're gonna go and roll it by hand as tight as we can. Freaking easy, keeps making the plastic wrapper to fly. Here we go. That's it. That's how it's supposed to look. And then we're gonna wrap it with the plastic wrapper again. Trying to block the air here. make my life a bit easier. It's fine. And then we're gonna start. So for the plastic wrapper, if you would use a bit longer plastic wrapper from the sides, it will make a bit your life easier. As you can see here, when I'm rolling it, it was a little bit short, so made it a bit more difficult, but it's not a big deal. So we roll it and just make sure it is tightening up from the side. So if it was a bit longer, you would be able to tie it as a knot, and it would make, like I said, it would make it a bit more easier to do. So after tying it in this shape, we're gonna keep it and chill it for around 30 to 40 minutes just to make sure that it's all tightening up and good to go. And while we leave our chicken for 30 to 40 minutes while it chill, we're gonna start making our chicken cordon bleu white sauce. So for the white sauce, we're gonna need to start melting some butter here, as you can see. And then after the butter is totally melted, we're gonna start adding the garlic, the minced garlic to it, and we're gonna fry it for a minute or a minute and a half. You don't want to go for too long, really. We just want it to get fried a little bit. We don't need it to take any kind of color or anything, just for a little bit. As you can see, that's how it should look like. Nothing crazy. Then we're gonna start by adding our flour right here. Okay, so once you start adding the flour, you're gonna start seeing that it's making kind of a crumbly shape, and it's fine. It's totally fine. That's not an issue. We actually want it to look like this, so don't freak out or anything. You're good. After you have it by this shape and all the liquids are dry, we're gonna start by adding the milk to our sauce right here. You can see we add a cup of milk, and then we're gonna start stirring until we lose that crumbles a little bit, and until the milk thickens out a little bit, not too much, nothing crazy. As you can see here, then we're gonna add our mustard. Okay, so it looks like this. It should look like this kind of thick, and then we're gonna add the mustard, like I said, and we're gonna start mixing it out and stirring till all the mustard get mixed with the sauce. Okay, this shouldn't take too long. After all the sauce is incorporated with the mustard and it's mixed pretty good, then we're gonna add our cheese, the Parmesan cheese. So for the Parmesan cheese is really totally up to you. I used around 50 grams of shredded Parmesan cheese. So if you want to go a bit more or less, a little bit more overboard, that's totally also up to you. I think I went a little bit overboard because my sauce was a little bit thicker than I wanted it to be. It's up to you really if you want your sauce to be thick or not thick, but I thought it was a little bit thicker than the usual, or thicker than the one I would like it to be. So I added a little bit of water, as you can see here, just to make it a little bit thinner. After adding the water, we're gonna make sure that you're gonna add salt and pepper. So the salt and pepper is really up to you, to your taste. So I'm adding just a pinch here of salt, and then just a pinch of black pepper. And we're gonna stir it also for another 30 to 40 seconds just to get it all mixed in and all incorporated with the sauce, and it's good to go. That's our chicken cordon bleu sauce, guys. Okay, and then we're gonna move to our next step, which is we're gonna unwrap the chicken from the plastic wrapper after leaving it for 30 to 40 minutes, and we're gonna start by getting it ready for the frying. So we're gonna dip it in the flour here, all-purpose flour, and then we're gonna dip it in the egg. We're gonna make sure it's all coated properly, and egg and in flour, and then last we're gonna put it in breadcrumbs. You want really to make sure here, especially the last step, for it to be covered in breadcrumbs if you don't want it to be cracking from the sides or losing that crispy shape. Okay, as you can see, and it's as simple as this. this is, and then we're gonna move to the last step, and it's frying our chicken. So for the oil temperature, guys, you want it to be at medium to high before you put in your chicken and you start frying it. It's really not that complicated. We're just gonna leave it on each side for around 30 seconds to a minute, depending on the shape of your chicken and the crisp of it and the color of it. Just don't overdo it. Don't keep on flipping it, because then it will take longer and it will absorb more oil. Okay, it should take around 2 to 3 minutes for it to be good to go, and it should look like this crisp brownish beautiful color. And that's our meal for today, guys. So you want to chill it for a little bit and let it rest, and then you start by cutting it and adding the chicken cordon bleu sauce, and it should look beautiful like this. Hopefully you make this, guys, you enjoy it. You have a great weekend, and let me know how was it. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and see you next week. Thank you for watching.